everybody. Happy Friday. Oh, look, we're doing the wrong microphone here. Happy Friday. This is Overpass Insight. No, this is Overpass Live. See me do better. Can you guys hear me all right? This is Overpass Live. My name is Eric. I make apps. This is the weekly live stream where we talk about whatever we want to talk about. And it's not like there's anything to talk about in the app world this week, is there? Not if you're an iOS developer, right? First of all, can you guys hear me okay? Let me just make sure you guys can hear me on the microphone. So the big news this week, at least on the iOS side, was iOS 14 came out almost within like overnight. Like it was like there was announced that the release date was going to be a certain day, and developers had like less than 2 days to update their apps if they needed to get them out. I know this because I had a client say, "Is our app tested on iOS 14?" It was like it was the night before, like several hours, like 2 or 3 hours before it was released. And, you know, I was like, yes, let me see. I would like to say that, oh yeah, no, I downloaded the beta months ago and I tested everything out and I had like a, but I never do. I usually just find out on the day. So I did, so I kind of panicked and waited for iOS 14 to go live. And then within like within the next hour. So I stayed up late just so I could, test the application. But that was kind of fun. I mean, luckily, this client application we'd only just released a few weeks earlier. So all the libraries and everything were up to date. So, but, it was that. And I haven't done a video all week this week because I've just been busy. Like it's been hugely busy. I'm trying to clear the backlog of work. I have some projects which other developers have started that I'm finishing. I've actually got 2 in that situation. So I'm just like, dude, this has got to get done. I can't wait anymore for somebody to stumble around. And I've been doing so. I've got a project going on in Xamarin, and I've got a project going on in Flutter. And Flutter was one where I really wanted to get into this. Well, it was like Flutter is really good, except when you get an error, and then you're like, I mean, it's like the same with any language, right? You get that little hiccup, and you're like, is this the previous guy's code, or is this something that's really, really bad? Or is this something that's part of the platform, right? So ultimately, I found what it was and everything. You guys can hear me okay, right? So let's say hello to who's here. Let's see, Fist007. What's up, Eric? What's up, Fist007? Rolls right off the tongue. How was your week? Week was good. Busy though, just busy because I've decided. I had this. You know what? One of these days I'm going to tell you this story about this project, but it's like embarrassing. It's embarrassing because waiting for a developer and all the promises and the promises and the promises, and then in the end it was just like, dude, this is like taking forever. And I'm not talking about taking forever like taking days longer. I'm talking about months longer. And finally, in the end, I'm just taking it over. And it's like, if you've ever taken, for those of you guys who are developers and worked on previous projects, I mean, first of all, the reason I don't like to talk about other people's code is because I've been in that situation where ego is involved a lot in software development, and developers get really bitchy with each other and start saying, oh, his code is terrible. No, his code is terrible. His code is terrible, right? Where you could have sloppy code, but if you have code that just doesn't work and it's not maintainable, that's something different, right? If it's not commented properly or there's not 100% code coverage, that's one thing, or test coverage. But then you have the other stuff, which is just spaghetti upon spaghetti. Like, let's see, this page or this module is exactly like that one. What should I do? Exactly like that one, except with a few tweaks. What should I do? I know, I'll just copy, paste, copy, paste, copy, paste, and then you have like the same code everywhere, and then you need to change it. You need to go to all those different things rather than just have why don't I modularize this? Why not have a data? Dude, okay, I'm not going to get started because, dude, I've had a week where I've gone from being angry about this project to depressed about this project to just like this roller coaster of emotions. And I guess it's no different for any business owner who has an unreliable employee, like say if he runs a shop or something and he ends up having to open the shop every day because the guy keeps calling in sick or the guy is just not reliable. And that's kind of sometimes you just take on that's a risk you take on when you take on a client project. The buck stops here, right? And I should have fixed this months ago, but I didn't. So anyway, that was how my week went. Was that for a ramble? What time's kickoff? Kickoff was a few minutes ago. So yeah, sorry. It's yeah. I try to start at 5 o'clock on the dot, and sometimes I will I like the music. You know, when you guys can't see this, but when the title's going and that music's playing, I'm dancing. You guys can hear me, right? Let's see. I'll just make sure. Let's see. Wow, no one here yet. Well, Bart Rock, hey Bart, how's it going? Happy Friday, everyone. Did anyone fail to get an fallen AdMob revenue after iOS 14 come out? Subscriptions are the future. I haven't even. Do you know what? I haven't even looked. Yeah, because iOS 14 has that new IDFA identifier. Ooh, okay, I'm gonna do this on a screen you guys can't see because I'm not supposed to show you guys my AdMob. But how bad was it? I mean, a lot of my. So yesterday I made £8.76, £3.12. I guess as people start to continue to upgrade. But yeah, that is something. Subscriptions, yeah. I mean, ads have getting tougher and tougher and tougher, and for good reason. I mean, it's just they're getting, and it's not developers' fault. Like it's like, you know, it's not developers' fault. It's the advertisers that, hey, put our SDK in your application to show ads, and sure, and then they're tracking them and showing the personalized ads and, you know, all that kind of stuff. Do you remember when we had AirPush? Was it AirPush? The one where it would, like, you install an app and you start getting push notifications, just like you know, don't even have the app open. You don't even know where those push notifications are coming from. That, you know, at least that's gone away. But I think it's gonna, like, ads are gonna get more and more difficult to do, and it's probably a good thing overall. But yeah, I mean, looking at that as a revenue model. Thanks everyone for smashing the like button, by the way. Let's see, Theo Taylor in the house. Hey Theo, glad you could make it. Eric pushing back to live stream while waiting for people to show up. I wasn't holding off. I just, you know, was dancing. More Than Extraordinary. That's an awesome name. I want that name. I'll trade you names. You could be Overpass and I'll be More Than Extraordinary because, all right, no, you be More Than Extraordinary and I'll be Extraordinary. Says, I got a bump in ad pop revenue since my restriction is slowly being lifted. He's making it sound like it's the lockdown being lifted. Good, that's awesome. I mean, who else is getting their limitations lifted? All people are starting to get in. Leandro, hey Eric, hey Leandro, how's it going? Let's see. More Than the Story says only been limited for 9 months. God. Matthew says, I published audio news report to Google Play recently. Could you check it out? Audio news report. All right, let's have a look. So we'll go to your desktop. You know, every time I show my desktop without getting it prepared first, I kind of wonder if you guys are going to see the recommendations that Google Play makes me and whether or not they'll be, like, you know, embarrassing. Let's see. How come you guys can't see me? Okay, so this is audio news report. Oh, this is the one with the creepy, let's see. Let's have a look. Is this the one with audio news report? Where's apps? Hang on a second. Oh, here we go. Put it in quotes. Is this it? Oh yeah, here we go. Oh, let's see. So audio news report. Trump versus military president news source. Go to source. I'm going to play the video here. Hopefully there's no.
Tom Brady leads Cam Newton by less than 50 in race for NFL's top-selling jersey. Trump versus the military. The president's mounting attacks on the top brass. '21 NFL mock draft. 3 quarterbacks taken in top 10. Green.
Cool. Search through 8 preset news topics. Have your news read to you through speech software. Search your own custom news topics. Have you thought about? Yeah, Matthew. I don't want to be. I'm not. Don't take this the wrong way, but have you thought about getting a designer? Just because I know it. Like I know the technical. So when I look at this, I wonder how this is different from like. For hearing impaired, like we did an app for hearing impaired people, and we used, is it is voiceover and talk. Oh, God, I can't remember what they're called. On so the disability settings, or the not disability, was it the accessibility settings on iOS and Android? I think it's called TalkBack and stuff like that. So you can get something like that. But yeah, I think my biggest thing with this would just be getting a designer, both for the icon and for that bit. But it was just released on September 11th. Dude, you know what? My first application was released on September 11th, 2012, right? And I could remember I kept looking at the updated date saying 11 September, and I said, I don't want it to have been released on that date. It's cursed, but it did okay. Let's see. We've got Parth says, your AdMob revenue inspires me a lot. Thanks for sharing. Parth, you may have seen the video that I did back in 2018. It's a lot lower now. So if you, so it is possible to do it. And this is it's kind of one of the things. The world is changing very, very quickly. And I mean, ad revenue is still definitely possible, but like in order to make ads work, you need to have the traffic. So if you focus on the traffic rather than the ads, that's the best way forward. It's like if you had anything, if you had a television show, you'd focus on the story, and as the television show got more exposure and more viewership, then the ads would make you more money and you get better ads. And it's kind of the same as if you focus more on the application itself rather than the ad mob, you'll do it. So let's see, Rizwan, hola. Let's see, Flutter slow community support in my sense. Yeah, I mean, you know what? I haven't really had to look at community support that much. In fact, it's kind of embarrassing how little I contribute to communities like Well, I guess the YouTube channel, kind of, right? But like I don't answer Stack Overflow. I don't, I don't comment on blogs and stuff like that. I know it's a bit I should do. But so at the same thing, I've had so many queries solved through Stack Overflow, but I don't think I've ever posted anything to it. It's like I'm just not one of those kind of people. And it's I've seen lots of when you see people who have, it's I don't know. Like, yeah, I just never have, unless it's something that's really, really weird. Usually I can find the answer to it. Let's see. Chansa says, "What's up, Eric? What's up, Chansa?" Theo says, "How's the iMac running? Played around with .NET Core yet?" So I've done not with .NET Core. No, I haven't. I've been running Xamarin applications through Visual Studio, and I actually have been running. I did install Visual Studio on Parallels on a Windows 10 virtual machine, just because there's certain things on there's certain things on some of the tools that I purchased that they only seem to work on Visual Studio for Windows, which is like, but surprisingly a lot of things work for Mac. But I haven't done anything other than Xamarin app development. Like, I've been thinking, because I like doing C#. There's a lot of languages I like, but one of the things I like about C# is just link queries, because I've used link queries for years, but I completely forgot about them. And I love querying their data once and just being able to manipulate it through link queries. I mean, you could do it through like JavaScript and stuff like that, through like a loop through an array, and or building up all these arrays and stuff like that. But no, I haven't. I'll have to check that out. And the iMac is running. It's running really well. It's like it's got 72 gigs of RAM in it. Like, I really overdid the RAM, so it's So it's nice when you open something, and it just opens. It's just quickly from this window to this window to this window. Like, I've always admired, like, when you go on, like, if you watch somebody do like a live coding on YouTube or wherever, somebody's using like tools like ReSharper for Visual Studio or whatever, and they know all the keyboard shortcuts, so it's like which is all well and good, but when you got a slow machine, it's just like keyboard shortcut, wait. It's like, how much time I saved. Let's see. Coding with Chip says, but Flutter as UI solution for mobile, desktop, and web is amazing, especially for mobile. See, this is what I'm thinking. So I took over this Flutter project, and it was just like the reason. So it was I wanted to go to Flutter. I went with a developer. They said, "Oh yeah, we know Flutter," and it was just like it was just really bad. Even things like just little things like having a clickable inkwell with a card inside it. So you couldn't even see the touch effect, right? Rather than have the inkwell inside the card, they had like, it was just the way that it was positioned. So like I was thinking, how come this is an inkwell and I click on it and I don't see any kind of visual effect? Well, it's because he put the card inside, so the card is covering that as opposed to putting the card on the outside and the inkwell on the inside. So a lot of that kind of stuff that I've done, and just really, but I really like that fluidity of coding and the hot reload, except when you see the red screen, like what have I done wrong, or what does it want now? And I'm having this thing with, I mean, I'm going like on this tangent because I've been dealing with this. My head has been in this code all day. I mean, I've hardly left this flat all week. I've gone to the gym every morning, and that's about it. So one of the issues that I had with this code is like, for some reason on my Mac, I'm running on iOS in the simulator, and I have to keep cleaning the project like almost every other time that I build it, right? And I don't know why. It's got, and it's not just on that. I got it on Writer. I think it might be something wrong with my development environment. Just going off all these tangents. Shahabas says, hey, Eric. Hey, Shahabas. Do you think that adding a feature to change the language inside the app is helpful for users? No, I don't. I think I've seen that before. Unless you have like a language learning application. I'm gonna, you know what? I feel like I'm like an old guy. I'm like telling these war stories. My first application, we had something similar. We had this language drop down. I told my developers I wanted to translate this app into other languages, and well, they'd gone ahead and put a drop down menu to select the languages rather than just use the system settings. And it infuriated me. Like, it was, first of all, I said, okay, cool, we have this. Now, I want to get this translated into Hindi because, they're in India. Let's do it in Hindi. This is going to sound, some of you guys are going to think, oh, Eric, how could you be so naive? But I said, let's do it into Hindi. And they go, okay, all right. And then they said they had to rewrite the whole thing because they just hard-coded the strings rather than use strings.xml in the Android application. So even I knew, again, this is one of those things where, how come I know this and you're not, and you're the Android developer, right? And in the end, it was like, taking over that stuff too. So then they went through and did strings.xml, and then they added a menu option to change language. I was like, rather than just go ahead and having it in the system settings. You want it in the system settings, right? Because unless it's something where you think the user will be like, normally, I speak Japanese, but sometimes I want to see it in Polish or whatever. That might be, maybe, but most of the time they want to see it in their system settings. Also, because I said Hindi, I thought they should be able to translate it, and they just went on Google Translate, and then and I thought, why did you do that? And they said, because we don't speak Hindi, we speak Gujarat, which was like, okay, that one's on me, but you guys could have said something. But yeah, I think the best way to do it is through that. You want the user experience to be that when somebody downloads it from another language, all the screenshots, the App Store, Play Store, all the descriptions, everything is in the native language. Like there should be no reason for them to even know it's available in other languages, unless you're like really impressed with that and you want it to be default to English and then have them select it. But that's just my opinion. Let me know if you guys disagree with that. But it's a good question, Shahabas. I hope I said your name right. I know I say it all the time, and I always, let me know if I get it wrong. LL Cool J says, hey, Eric. Hey, LL. Happy Friday to you. And yes, your mic's working fine. By the way, subscription model is difficult to implement. Dude, I think in-app purchases are difficult to implement. I mean, do you mean it's like technically from like a coding point of view it's difficult? Or do you mean like a user adoption thing? Because that's one thing I hate about doing in-app purchases is testing it. I know you could go through add yourself as a test user, put your credit card in there. You try to use it, and it says you can't buy your own stuff, which makes sense, I guess. And I just always found it difficult because, and then you have to like, so I always like mock up the whole thing. So if I have the purchase button in development, then I will just do it like if I click purchase, then it just bypasses it, unlocks everything. And then I have to go back into the sandbox and switch everything back on. So I get, test it again and again and again, right? Just going those iteration loops. Oh, that didn't work quite. Or that unlocked this part, but not this part. So then you get all that bit. And then in the end, you have that little kernel where you actually make the call to the Google Play API or the Apple App Store API to make the purchase. And then you plug everything in there because otherwise it's just too difficult. It slows development down too much to do those in-app purchases. And subscriptions, yeah, man, that must be even worse. I Teach Tech says, fan versus ad mob. Who would win in a fight? Who would win in a fight between Facebook Audience Network and ad mob? Ad mob has always been my favorite, but it's getting a bit long in the tooth. It's also limiting things a lot. Facebook Audience Network is Facebook Audience Network I find it difficult to implement, mainly because I have so many applications and you have to go set up a different developer project for each single one. And I haven't seen, again, I know I've answered this question again and again, which is, fine. That's why we're here. But like some people swear by Facebook Audience Network. For me, AdMob has always been my favorite. Carol VDW is there. Hey, Carol, how's it going? Chord Funk, yo, Chord Funk, hello. I'm trying to think of a name I haven't used before. Alexander, I'm going to go with Alexander Wright, spelled with a W. Because, I know I've used that one before. God, you know what? I'm going to make a list. Somebody give me a list of, like, names that start with A and W. Root beer. A and W root beer. Hey, cuz. What's up? How's your app business going? I've seen little growth on my app, but getting there. Will you do those yearly videos on how much I made? I could do. I mean, I've been showing those on the live stream, and it's really, this year has been pathetic. And, somebody says they're inspired by my AdMob revenue. It's like, yeah, right. This year, it's really low. Yesterday, I made £8 through AdMob. I haven't checked the daily revenue report to see how much we made from in-app purchases and stuff. But it is going to be, maybe I might do one anyway. I might as well. I mean, just to say, look, oh, how the mighty have fallen. Oh my God. Hey, remember a couple years ago when it was like, yeah, this is how much I made. This is how much I made this year. And it's not necessarily the ad mob's fault or whatever. It's also just I've been so focused on client work. We haven't put anything new out. And even the stuff where I need to update the libraries, like I think I was talking about last week, I've just been too busy. I got an app which is in Swift 3, but I got to update it to at least Swift 4.3 to put it back onto iOS. And I have been flat out busy this week. And, it's like, the urgent, like they said, the important gets pushed aside for the urgent. And this week is an urgent week. Morris Taylor, lol. Hardick says, can you check short moral stories? All right, let's have a look. Let's have a look at short moral stories. I assume we're looking at Google Play. How do I get my picture back on here? Let's see. There we go. All right. We're going to look for short moral. Oh, Eric forgot how to type. Here we go. Short moral stories. Ooh. There's loads of them. Hardick, you need to tell me which one it is. I mean, first of all, when you have a lot of apps with the same name, this is the kind of thing where we have to, I would think, examine. I mean, we got short moral stories here. We got short moral stories here by another developer. We got short moral stories here by another developer. I'm not saying it. Your app name doesn't necessarily have to be unique, but if you just give me the name, I can't find it. And also, you can't describe to anybody how to actually find the thing. So if you let me know, I had an incident once in the past where I spent like 10 minutes talking about somebody's app, and he's like in the bottom of the comment saying, "No, there's mine right over there." Chancellor says, "Hi, Eric. This week there was a new Google policy on misrepresentation policy. I want you to shed more light on this new Google policy. If at all you received this email." I did receive the email, but I haven't. God, I was so busy. I didn't even look at it. Well, I think we'll have to go through that one next week. Let me have a look at that one because I haven't seen it. To me, when I see something that says like misrepresentation policy, it sounds like it's addressing something I don't need to worry about. So I didn't look at it too much. So, Par says, "Can you tell me how much AdMob eCPM you are getting on average?" I can't. Well, I'm not allowed to tell you my exact RPM. I'm going to tell you mostly it's around it's like banners at the moment. I think for something's happened with my interstitial, so it's less than £1. I can't tell you the exact one. So, Fist Double says that you like doing C#, huh? I wonder how that's going. What does that mean? I do like doing C#. But JavaScript's my favorite. JavaScript is my favorite. I'm liking Dart too. I mean, a lot of them are so similar, right? You know what? I hope. You know what? I just wish that everybody got together and say the string object, capitalized or no, right? Just put it out there, right? Everyone, if seems to be good. A for loop seems to be universal, right? That's good, right? A for loop a for loop seems to be the same in C#, JavaScript, and Dart, and sure, lots of other ones. I mean, that seems to be down, but why can't we just make string lowercase or uppercase? Just something as simple as that, because that always gets me. But let's see. Jay Matthew, hey Eric, hey, how's it going, Jay? Let's see. It sounds like we're in Texas. That was a very bad Texas accent, by the way. I don't do accents. Lots of times since I've lived over here, people say, "Hey, see if you could do an English accent." And I was like, "No, you would be insulted." And by the way, apologies if I insulted anybody in Texas, right, by my awful rendition of a Texas accent. I lived in Texas for 2 years, just over 2 years. I lived in as a kid, I lived in Corpus Christi, but I don't remember any of that. And I lived in San Angelo when I was doing Army training, and I lived in San Antonio, Texas for 2 years, where I worked at Fiesta, Texas, which became Six Flags afterwards, and I also worked at SeaWorld of Texas. Although even then I didn't have a Texas accent. Glenn Ferris says, "Hey, Eric, it's been a while. Hey, Glenn, how's it going? I just got home from brunch. Massive hangover pending." Awesome. Own it, Glenn. Glad you've embraced it. I'm like, dude, it's gonna be a hangover, but worth it. I'm just gonna sit in a corner and listen for a while, dude. All right, you may have drifted off by now, but should we shout? Should we wake him up? Should we wake him up? Should we wake Glenn up, or should we just let him sleep? Oh, let him sleep. Oh, he's so darling over there in the corner. Alwyn Acker says, "Hey Eric, really enjoy your videos from South Africa." Thanks Alwyn, I really appreciate it. This week I did no videos, and it's been weighing on my mind. It's like, so I wasn't gonna miss the live stream, but I'm just trying to clear the decks. I've too many projects on at the moment, so I want to get some more videos done. I don't just want the ones where I'm sitting on the couch over there. I want the ones where I'm walking around outside. I got this ridiculous montage with music where you guys are like, yeah, we get it. Come on. But I'm like, dude, I'm like an artist. I want those videos again. I love doing those ones. But I appreciate that. Thanks, Owen. Carol VDW says, "I'm getting closer to finishing my first Unity project, which will also be the first time publishing for iOS." Ooh, awesome. Oh, publishing to iOS is just lovely. You're gonna love it. I mean, it's just such a breeze. All you have to do, oh my God, oh my God. Actually, I do it really quickly now. And if you use stuff like, you got to download your developer certificate. Well, you have to generate the key, get the developer certificate. If you don't already have the developer certificate, after you get one, it lasts a year. It's good. You have to set up an app ID for your application, and and then do the profile, provisioning profile, and make sure you get the right one. So you either got the ad hoc or development one, or you get the production one. I usually just do the production one, download that so you can sign the application, make sure the name's all the same, make sure if you have something in there like push notifications, you have that enabled on there, and then you can sign it, upload it, and uploading it's, different depending on the tools you're using. So, I mean, if you're doing the Xcode, it's easy. You just go package, archive, and then you're able to upload it, and then you upload it, it gets to the end and says, oh, you forgot to upgrade the version number, and then you go back and do the whole thing again, recompile it, do everything. Although you don't have to do the provisioning profile again. Just do like uploading the thing, and then it gets to the end, and you think everything's fine, and then you get an email like a few minutes later saying there was a problem with your application, blah blah blah, right? And it's either like something's deprecated, and you're like, I don't care, right? As long as it works, or there's something that says or they might say you push notification and time. Like there'll be something that comes in, but sometimes they'll say something even more drastic, and you have to go through and upload it again. And it's fun. You're gonna love it. Yeah, good luck, Mijo. Yeah, good luck. It's actually not that bad. Mohammed Musad says, "Do I need a privacy policy part? Do I need a privacy policy part? For a simple app. When should I make a privacy policy for our apps? Usually when you're gathering user information. So if you're using if you're gathering any user information like camera, I think you need it for the camera. But you definitely, if you're saving something to a server, you need to have some sort of privacy policy there. Even if you have analytics. So if you're using Firebase Analytics or something like that, you have to use that too. But that's really, if you have something that's just like you have no server, you have nothing, you might be able to get away with not doing it. No ads too. You need it if you have ads too, because you have the IDFA identifier, which is, even though you're not collecting information, the ad networks are. More Than Extraordinary says, if Google and Apple rate my app Peggy 3, can I still show 17 plus rated ads, or do I have to show ads rated for 3 years old only? I think you probably have to show ads for 3 years old only, but that's like, why would you want to show ads for 3 years old? I mean, that's a good question. I know what the answer should be. The answer should be that, yeah, no, you shouldn't be able to say, 17 plus ads if the app is going to be downloaded by 3 years old. I mean, this is why on Google Play, you don't just have the Peggy rating. You also have the target audience. Like, who do you target? It's like a separate thing. So, you might be somebody who, you're over 18, but you don't like the violence. You want something that's, rated 3 plus. So it's like, I think that's why they're looking at them separately. But again, I'm not sure the exact one. Can I raise the age rating of the app without lying and saying there's violence, nudity, etc. in it? You can set the target policy. You don't need to have it say that there's violence or nudity. You have to lie about how bad it is. Just say, look, this is not intended for kids. This is intended for, older people. Let's say you had something for, let's say you had one for an app for hemorrhoid relief exercises, for hemorrhoid relief exercises for the elderly, right? It's not intended for kids, right? You could probably show whatever ads on there you want, but just because there's no nudity or violence doesn't mean you give it to your kids. It's fine. Alwatch says, hi, Eric, just joined. Welcome, Alwatch. Was wondering Kotlin or Java for both Android. Sorry if you already got this question. I've never heard this question. I get this all the time. I'm a Java guy. I'm classic. I'm old. I like Java. Kotlin, I've never used Kotlin. So I think my whole thing with Java is that I think if you're going to do something else, that Java's more portable, used in other places. But Kotlin seems to be the way that Android wants you to go. So if you're just going to do Android development, I would go the Kotlin route. But I would look at something cross-platform frameworks too, if you wanted to. So there's, Flutter, Xamarin, React Native, that kind of stuff. But welcome. LL says, can we use the word Android as part of the app title? I don't know. That's a good question. I would imagine so. You're not like, yeah, it's not a, it's for the Android platform. Dude, let's have a look. God, that's a, I would assume so. Android Auto. Google's using it a lot. I want to find some. I want to find some. Here we go. Yeah, Q launcher for Android. Yeah, I would imagine so. Yeah, of course you probably could. So if you had, yeah, I don't think there would because it's yeah. If you had two applications like for your company and you had one for iOS and one for Android, yeah, sure you'd want to be able to. You might want to specify that so it just makes it more interesting or more easy. Louis Solar, Louis, hey, how's it going? That's a cool photo. Any comments about Kotlin multi-platform? I don't, like I said, I've never used Kotlin. Wait, Kotlin, oh wait, that's the one, that's a cross-platform one, isn't it? All right, I'm gonna have a look at this because you know what, you called me out, Louis, whoever you are. Called me out. Let's see. Let's have a look. Is Kotlin multi-platform the one that runs on iOS too? Is that? Okay, Kotlin multi-platform. Oh, cool. Mac OS 64 main, JVM main, JS main. Awesome. Okay, well there you go. Yeah, if you're gonna so yeah. What was I just saying about Kotlin being less portable than Java? It sounds like I'm just full of it. But thanks for that. Thanks for that, Lewis. Everything Tech 87. Tech from 1987. Dude, those were the years. I was telling my son the other day. We were talking about AirPods because somebody, and I don't want to say who, but it's this American guy who moved to the UK about 20 years ago. This guy, this idiot, he accidentally washed his AirPods in his trousers in the washing machine. God, I was so angry. I was like, man. And my son was like saying, I don't really like AirPods the way that the little white bit hangs down. I'm like, yeah, I know. It's kind of like, and I was talking about when I was a kid, we had cordless phones back in '87. I remember when cordless phones were a big thing. Yeah, I had one in my room. Like the aerial that came out, and it was like, hello. It was badass. But like, it wasn't like AirPods where they made it look like it was cut off. Like they didn't have a little cord like 6 inches that hung down. Okay, so Everything Tech 87 says, as far as I know, we need a privacy policy to publish an app. What's the best way to display it, i.e. through the link on the website or just through the pop-up view within the app? You're going to need one on the Google Play page, right? So you might as well have it on the website. You should have it in both places on the app. If you do it on the website, you can just have that link go straight to that web page. So for me, web page is the way to go because you're going to have like the at the bottom of the App Store listing, both on Google Play and on iOS, Google Play and on App Store, you'll need to put that there. So I think it's better to do it as a web page. My opinion. Let me know if you guys disagree with me. Fizzle said, no, you didn't get me. You like doing C# is like a dirty way. Keep the comments somewhat clean. Doing C#. How is that dirty? I was like, dude, you doing C#. You doing C#. How is that dirty? I see no way that's dirty. Am I just like not getting it? Overpass apps. In your opinion, what's the best way to create iOS apps currently? Xcode, Flutter, or React Native? I would go Flutter. I mean, if Flutter does what you need to do, of those three, that's the one I would go with. First of all, I don't like React Native. A lot of you guys are React Native developers out there, and you tell me how great it is, and I don't doubt you. All I know is every time I try to look at a React Native, I'm missing some Babel whatever thing. However, having said that, I've been struggling a bit with Flutter this week too. But I like Flutter. I think React Native, if you're a React developer already, or JavaScript, JavaScript is my language of choice. I mean, besides C#, which is apparently dirty for some reason. I don't know why. But That's just me. That's my opinion, and I could be wrong. I could, you know what? I could be one of those guys who likes um, bad bagpipe music, and like I'm just maybe I just really like Marmite and bagpipe music, and I just like to be different. But I like Flutter. Risab says how to avoid Google AdMob account from invalid clicks and avoid termination. Please reply. You can't really avoid the invalid clicks. If somebody wants to sabotage you, they can. I would appeal it and use the term click sabotage if you had to appeal it. But I'll definitely make sure you set the device ID, the test device ID in your code, so that all those different renders in development, when you just run, like when you're running it on your devices in front of you, you don't want that to be counted as impressions, because that's going to look funny. It's going to look strange all coming from that same IP address. And, even though you're not clicking it, hopefully there's still those impressions. So make sure you do that. LL says, I'll watch from developer and agency point of view, Kotlin, if it's a company, it depends on the existing tech stack. Rishab says how to avoid. Okay, we just added that one. That's that one. Taking a bit on my side. Everything tech. Isn't it privacy policy for apps that collect user data? Actually, if we use AdMob, it collects user data, so we need a privacy policy after all. Yeah, I mean, sometimes, yeah, I think for me it's just easier just to do it. I have I don't know if I should tell you guys this, but I just have like a blanket privacy policy. So I just use it for all of my different applications. So we have analytics, we store user data, whatever we have, AdMob. So let's see. Fistable said, what do you think about Blazor and WebAssembly? I have not used Blazor at all. But is it WebAssembly? WebAssembly, I've used that in that's what like in Angular 2 plus or Angular 2 and over, right? That's the web packing kind of thing, right? Is that what Blazor does? I didn't even realize that. Oh, I've got the sun coming through that window. Let's see. Glenn Ferris says, serious question for me now. All right, let's get serious. Whew. Will iOS apps work seamlessly on Mac OS? I use inputs like device screen size and UI interface idiom equals pad. Will my apps break? I don't know. I wish I knew the answer to that. I think it's the kind of thing where you should probably be able to test it. A lot of times with these things, you don't find out, like if you don't have a test device, and in this case would be a Mac to test on, then I think it's dangerous to release it like that. I've had people send me their Unity apps and say, can you just compile this for me and just release it? And I'm like, and one time I said yes, and then it was like all these issues on iOS, because it's not until you run, like the reason I have all these test devices is because even though something should work, I might have a memory issue, like where an image is like it's trying to load an asset that's too big, or sometimes you'll get it like in an iOS. On iOS, it's like it doesn't just give you a stack trace. It just says, boom, done. Like, dude, that's it. I give up. I'm closing. I guess Android does that sometimes too, but lots of times you can at least catch that error. And on iOS, if there's a memory issue, it's just done. Unless I don't know where to look. Like I might be looking at the wrong place, but you're going into logs, you like look at all the logs. And reading logs, I hate reading logs, especially Logcat, because it feels like I'm in the Matrix. It feels like I'm like, look, God, see the bug is, or you go like, okay, turn on Logcat, everything's scrolling up until it kind of slows down, and then you go, click, stop Logcat. What the hell happened? Right. And I know you could filter it, but sometimes it's not like your application itself, it's something else is doing it. So, but that's my opinion. Market Crepity. Hey, how's it going? All right. I might change the Overpass logo to be like a really angry bull, because that looks cool. Hi, Eric, I got my new iPad. Cool. Is there any value in developing apps made for iPad OS that uses Apple Pencil, Procreate, using $4 million monthly revenue? Is there any benefit, any value in it? I would say yeah. I mean, when I got, but so I got like an older iPad Pro, and when I got the Apple Pencil, I was looking for like all, I was look. That's exactly what I was looking for, and there wasn't that many out there that use the Apple Pencil. So yeah, I think definitely it's going to be a smaller market than if you went for everything, but it would still be, a smaller market's not necessarily a bad thing if that's what people are searching for. You could either be in a big pond, a small fish in a big pond, or a small fish in a small pond, I guess. But yeah, but that's my opinion. I'm going to stop saying that's my opinion because everything I say is my opinion. I can say a fact and it's still my opinion, which is what flat earthers would tell you. So, no, that's not a dig. Uh, Fist was said when I said like doing C sharp, it came out like I'm doing that chick. I'm doing C sharp. Yeah, I'm still not following. Let's see. Hi, what's your highest number of active users on Google Play Console, and how do you consider good retention rate? 1, 7 or 30 days. For me, I did a video about retention rate at the height when I was making the most money, and it was still like a day. It was still, I've always had a bad retention rate on Google Play. Um, so for me, and I know people would say like, oh yeah, you're making that money. But when I do the revenue reports and stuff like that, yeah, you're making that money, but your retention is terrible. I was like, yeah, but it's yeah, and that was more the nature of my applications. It was like the kind of thing where you try it and go, oh, that's cool, right? And then you forget you had it, and then later on you delete it. So, but for me, I've always had a poor retention rate. Syed says, how would I know if my app was a failure? When should I stop working on it? I'm obsessed with it. I think people don't like it. Dude, if I knew the answer to that, I would just have So this week I took over a project that the developer was like constantly saying, oh, it's nearly done. It's nearly done. Oh, no, no, no. One more week. One more week. And then months, right? And in retrospect, I wish I had taken over that project 6 months ago. But you never, like, if I knew that, if you knew if something was working or not working, then you could give up on it. If you think there's still a chance, like, you don't want to be somebody who like you give up on something, and then later on you're like, I think that would have worked if I just changed one little thing, right? But have another project on the side. Sometimes you just need something to just sit there for a while. But there's that story about the acres of diamonds or whatever. A guy buys a diamond, a field. He's digging and he gives up because and then he doesn't realize he's sick. If he dug for another 6 inches, he'd find his diamond mine, and somebody else buys it from him and does it right. That's the thing that keeps you going, right? That's also the thing that keeps you going longer than you should have when you should have given up 6 months earlier. So it's a really difficult question to answer, and I totally get that. So I think it's going to be on a case by case basis, and it's going to be, and you know what? You might get it wrong. I wish I knew, and I'm sure there's people out there who will tell you, I could have told you that wasn't going to work, but they don't know. You're doing, anything. So Blazor is a front end, it's a web front end in C sharp. Put simply, C sharp run on the browser. Oh, that sounds cool. Does it sound cool? I don't know. I am always been opposed to something that compiles into JavaScript, right? I think JavaScript is JavaScript, right? I think when I think of something that compiles into JavaScript, I think about ASP.NET web forms, where it's like, oh, drag and drop interface. All you do is click a button, and you don't even have to write the JavaScript. We'll write it for you. And then a new browser comes out, and you're trying to figure out, I don't know why this thing doesn't work, or I can't support this new thing because the framework doesn't do it. And that's the same when it comes to CoffeeScript, Angular, CoffeeScript, TypeScript, Hummingbird. I just, and although it would be cool to use C sharp on the browser, but I've been fooled many times before. I can remember when you could run VB script in an Internet Explorer browser back in IE5 4 or 5. If I mention I'm old, back in IE 4 or 5, you could run VB script in a browser, and it was cool that you could use a language that you knew, and it was supported in this one browser, which had a really good market share. And then it didn't. And then they were like, even Internet Explorer stopped supporting it. Jadip Solanki says, what do you think about mobile game dev? I'm not much of a mobile gamer, so I've used like frameworks. I've done some games. I've done games for clients. I've done some where I've coded them myself. I've done some where my developers coded them. I have done some games for, and I've done different ones. I've done like quiz games, which are just easy. Like you could almost do a quiz game in like a forms-based application, right? I've done some where I've actually done the game loop myself. I've done some where I've used Corona, where you don't need to do a game loop, but you probably should. I've done some where you use the accelerometer. So you're thinking about the when you do one where you have the game loop. If you've ever done like a JavaScript game where you're not using a framework, which is how I learned like how games actually work. Right, object-oriented programming is really important. Where you have my list of assets, and that could be characters, that could be objects, that could be whatever. And every time, so I'm rendering at 60 frames per second or whatever it is, I'm just basically clearing down the canvas and building all the objects up again, although each one might be moving over like a few. So it's just like, and it's going fast enough that it looks like everything's moving, and then but you kind of understand the mechanics of how it works. So each object would have its own dimensions, so you could have track collisions and stuff like that. But it would also have its own sprite state. So if you have a character that's running, you have that sprite animation go at the same time, and then you have the velocity, the direction, all that kind of stuff. And it's much more fun to do it that way. Now, I've never used Unity. I've also used Corona, which is now Solar 2D, where we haven't done the game loop, and it just got messy because there's all these transition twos and everything like that, and like where I had to take over from another time where I had to take over from another developer, it's so, and that it got a bit more tangled. But I've never done like Unity development, or I've never done Cocos 2DX either. Glenn Ferris says, cheers, Eric. That's what I thought. Crazy that Apple are releasing all iOS apps to Mac OS as a default. I didn't even know that. Are they doing it by default? For Android apps, running app debug in Android Studio and stopping threads really helps in bug detection. Oh yeah, if you this is it's true. Like, so if you have a debug build and you're running through and you're setting the breakpoints for developers, we all love breakpoints. Like, we should all, as software developers, every day we should say a thank you to whoever created breakpoints in code. It's like, thank you. Like, if you've ever done anything where you didn't have breakpoints, like I can remember doing web apps where we had JavaScript, but we didn't have the debug console back in the old days, right? And we're just constantly, and didn't even have so we couldn't even write to the log, and we're just doing alert. Let's put an alert in there, see what's happening, so to find out what's going on in that loop. And if you've ever done like an alert in a loop, you're like, okay. How long is this? 100? Okay. Until you find your bug, right? So yeah, setting breakpoints. The problem is that like breakpoints, like when you put an app live, you don't have breakpoints anymore. You got somebody saying, it's just crashing for some reason, right? And you're like, oh, it doesn't happen on my phone, which is always the best thing to say as a developer. It doesn't happen on my machine, right? And you see a lot of like, it gets very easy to not think about that, because you could just set a breakpoint, right? Yeah, I just set a breakpoint. Find out what is that value? Oh, that explains it, right? If for some reason that value is getting changed over here, but not in this situation. But you got those other things where it's out in the wild, and if you have logging and try catches which log to someplace, then at least you have some way to figure it out, right? And it's like after release, I must have released hundreds of applications, for myself and for clients. And it's like hard when something's out there in the wild and somebody's saying they have a problem with it. You could either A, think that person must be a crazy person, which is like the default as a developer. You think, oh, that person must be mentally unhinged. And you think, okay, all right, they're sending you a screenshot. Okay, so why is that happening? It doesn't happen to me. Must be a problem with their account. Log in as their account. No, it's not that. Whatever. And then you're like, you're just trying to figure this stuff out because you don't have enough information. And if you have something rights to log like Crashlytics or Visual Studio has App Center, or Android Studio, well, no, Visual Studio has App Center, then at least you have some way to go back and find out what happened. Oleg, hey, Oleg, how's it going? Hey, Eric, haven't you considered start mobile app SaaS business like application maker software? I have. I did. So we did one called Viaduct. It was like we did a whole, like I had a developer working on it full time. He was like doing the drag and drop type of stuff. We had the Ionic framework, so we just basically dragged something on there. It was storing all the web pages in like a local database. Everything was going really well, but there's a lot of competition out there. Like there's Good Barber, there's lots of other stuff out there that started realizing that it was like fighting this uphill battle. Like, and it was just like, yeah, I'm never gonna catch up with those guys. Or an application constructor. Yeah, I mean, I've thought about that. I think one of the things I think we're doing a lot of client work like from scratch, and I'm thinking about stopping that. I mean, I'm really considering it. It's just like I spend so much time, not focusing on my own applications. Glenn says, Syed, we can't know what will become a huge success. Look at Among Us or Flappy Bird. No one can know what will go viral. It's true. The only way to know is to get out there. What people can't seem to grasp is it's not the development that makes an app successful. Take a look. Lost successful apps are crappy ones. It's the marketing that matters. Yeah, this is one of the things that I think is very, very true. It's, I don't think you should put out a crappy app, right? That's not what I'm saying. It's just like, I've had people say to me, you know what? You probably spent a month working on your app, and I've been working on mine for 6 months. This is not doing it. And he was angry at me, right? It's not like it doesn't even matter how long you spent on your application. It's how useful it is to the user. And you can have the most useful app, and if nobody knows about it, does it even exist, right? If you're like, dude, my app is better. I have the most useful app out there, and you are not in a position to get it in front of the right people, then nobody's going to know it's there, and just hoping somebody stumbles upon it and leaves a comment and then tells their friends about it, and then you start like here, where you could put like, bam, put a whole bunch of money on it and advertise it, which again is scary, right? And I wouldn't recommend it. I would do is like advertise a little bit, check to see how those ads are doing, and if they're doing well, then kind of grow that advertising revenue. But yes. Dude, did you hear? Phil is here. Hey, Phil, I'm glad you could make it. I love the bravado. Phil is here. Dude, guys, let's go home. Phil's here. He's going to take over. No. Browser runs native C# through WebAssembly, Eric. But how does that work? So how does it work? How does a browser run native C# without a plugin? This is what I want to know. Like, unless it's using like Silverlight would run native C# in a browser, but it run in the Silverlight runtime. Totally agreed. TypeScript compiles into JavaScript, so it should work with all browsers. Yeah, TypeScript does. But we're talking about Blazor. So yeah, TypeScript does. So I just don't like things that compile into JavaScript. I like just doing JavaScript. Because otherwise you got something else that's doing that part for you. The native .NET framework running inside the sandbox within the browser. Yeah, but how does it work like on a Mac? This is what I want to know. So browsers are HTML and JavaScript are the standards for all browsers. Like how do you... This is what I want to know. Oleg says .NET is evil. Java is evil as well. How about Objective-C? Yeah, they're evil too. JS is evil. Come on, JavaScript is pure. Good vibes, thank you. From Elbow Cough. So yeah, something I can't see the emoticons on here. I think you're good with sales. I've recently started a SaaS web scraping business. What three main sales things can you advise me? I am not good at sales. I wish I was good at sales. You know what? I wish I was good at sales, and because I guess I'm good in sales because I'm honest. Like if I meet with a client, we usually get the job. But what I'm bad at sales is actually going out there and getting the client. It's like if somebody knocked on my door, yeah, I'll be fine. Like that kind of stuff, I'll be totally fine. Like, but getting on the phone and calling people, oh my god, I'd rather put salt in my eyes. I'd rather just do anything else to get on the phone and say, I did a video about this years ago, but like when I do, so I've done very little cold calling. And I say very little, like very little. Like I'm just like, for me, cold calling a company to see if they want to be a client is like asking a girl on a date as a teenager. It's like, it's, hello, yes, can I speak with your head of technology? Yes. Hello. Yes. My name's Eric from Overpass app, and I was wondering if maybe you might sort of be, it's like it was awful. Oh my god. You know what? You guys would lose all respect for me if you've seen that. If you have any respect for me at all. But let's see. Gillum. Hey there. What's up? What's up? How's it going, Gillum? For Mac, they use a .NET Core, which is cross-platform .NET. All right, I have to look at this. We're gonna do this, but then we are gonna end this. Well, actually, yeah, it is their pizza time. I'm gonna look at this before next week, if it's 007. And if you're lying to me, if you're wrong, because let me have a look at Patrick Brown. Hey, Patrick, how's it going? Glad you can make it. Although we're just about to finish. We're just wrapping up. We're just wiping up the tables. We're just sweeping the floor. So if you can be quick, welcome. Cheers, Eric. A blast as always. Seems like pizza time. Patrick says, "What's your AdMob ECPM?" Mine is 1.2. Mine is lower than that. Just recently, it's been really bad. But I can't really say what it is. So I think the last time I said it was like 86p or something because it was mostly banners. But that's just for me. Okay, so everybody, hey, I hope I answered all the questions. If I missed your question, apologies, but I try to get through all of them. Thank you very much for joining the live stream this week. It's been fun as always. I hope you guys have a fantastic week ahead. I'm going to try... Dude, once I clear my work backlog, I'm going to try to get some more videos done during the week. But we will be here next week on Friday for the live stream. And I hope you guys have a fantastic weekend. Have a fantastic week ahead. Thanks for smashing the like button. Stay healthy, stay safe, and I'll talk to you again next weekend.